I called him.
Thank you. Announcements. If at this time you would please silence all phones and electronic devices. If you wish to appeal any recommendation of this commission, our appeals cards are to our right. We would ask that if you wish to speak in front of the commission that you fill out a speaker's card so that we have a record. And each side will be given 10 minutes, either for or against, with 5 minutes of rebuttal. And lastly, we would ask if you wish to have any conversations regarding the case afterwards that you would exit the building, as if you go back into the foyer area, it does echo back into the chamber. At this time, I would ask Commissioner Randolph to lead us in invocation and Commissioner Lauren for the pledge.
Gracious Father, once again we come to you, Lord, with all the praise and thanks in our hearts for all the blessings you bestowed in our lives. Thank you for watching over, protecting us and our families, our homes, our communities. Lord, we ask a special blessing on this commission and the parish that we serve. And all these blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. In our packages, we do have the minutes of the May 5th, 2015 meeting. If you would please review them, and I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion by Commissioner Dougherty, a second by Commissioner Davis. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. The motion carries. Staff, are there any postponing of cases?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. We encourage the public to provide input if you wish to speak for or against any of the cases. Zoning change request cases. Applications for a proposed change of zoning district or amendments to the land use ordinance requiring review and recommendation of approval by the Zoning Commission before action by the Parish Council are as follows. ZC 15-06-049, existing zoning A2 Suburban District, proposed zoning A2 Suburban District and manufactured housing overlay. The parcel, 0.88 acres. The petitioner, Thea Genderheimer. The owner, Dorothea Lard Genderheimer. The parcel, located on the north side of Soul Drive, near the intersection of Meyer Street, being 21049 Soul Drive, Covington, Ward 3, District 5. Staff?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses, including manufactured homes. Staff recommends approval of the request.
Is the petitioner here? If you would please come to the podium. If you would state your name and address, please.
Thea Gagenheimer. The address is 23292 North Ryan Drive, Covington 70435.
Can you tell us why you would like the zoning change?
Well, our daughter's trying to move back from Atlanta. We're trying to gather our family back here again. And we looked at a Katrina cottage. There's a gentleman in Mississippi that gathers them up and refurbishes them and sells them. So we had looked into that. We thought it was a great, affordable home that we could move in and have the kids move back from Atlanta. However, when we pursued it further, because it has a HUD number, it's considered the manufactured home. So that's why we had to go for the rezoning. Okay, we don't, because it looks like an old New Orleans cottage, it's not the typical manufactured home, and we felt like it would be an enhancement to the neighborhood rather than a detriment. That we already have a well and a septic on the property, so that's the reason we decided we would put it there.
Thank you.
I have pictures of what we're proposing.
If you would like to give them
if
to
you'd like to
staff, they will bring
pass
them
them
to
on.
us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this change at this time? Seeing no one, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Tommy Lazaire. I live at 21180 Soul Drive in Abita Springs. The reason I oppose this is because it does have a HUD number, and my brother just recently built a house in the neighborhood. It's valued at about $400,000. I have a house as well in the neighborhood, and there are a lot of nice houses in the neighborhood, and I just feel that if a trailer or anything that comes in on wheels is considered a trailer to me, whether it's manufactured or not, it's just going to decrease the value of all of our houses. There are some nice trailers in the area, but, you know, one other thing, the lady said they have a well and septic on the property. But I need to ask, is it a sewer treatment plant or a septic system? Sewer treatment plants. Okay, that's all I got. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Please approach the podium, state your name and address.
My name is David Givens. I live at 21061 Soul Drive, right next door to the property mentioned. It's been a situation. It's been a string of the lady mentioned she wanted to bring the family home. That's fine and well. What if they only stay there 6 months? What if they decide not to come? All it becomes is another low-income rental, possibly a government rental. And there's been a string of bad tenants next door. 3 or 4 house trailers have been dragged in and out. One guy ran a tow truck business out of there and destroyed the place. And I'm just concerned about that. That's about my biggest concern. Everybody needs a place to live, you know, but that would be my biggest concern. It would become a blight, let's say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? Please approach the podium and state your name and address.
Hello, my name is David Lazaire. I live at 21194 Soul Drive in Abita Springs. As my brother previously mentioned, I recently built a home next to him at the intersection of Soul and Casriel. And I value the area as up and coming, and on Soul and Hellenberg and those places, there's a lot of new houses being developed and built and subdivisions, and I feel like allowing manufactured housing would be a step back as opposed to a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to speak in front of this commission at this time? Seeing none, I close it to the, well, excuse me. We do have rebuttal. If you would wish to make any further comments rebutting the opposition, please come in. Yes, sir, you may.
I'm Fred Jagenheimer. I'm also,
If
my
you,
wife is Thea.
if you would come to the podium so we can.
Yes, sir. I'm Fred Jagenheimer. Gentleman said that, you know, my family might not be coming back here, but my son-in-law is starting a business here in town. They plan on staying here. They're actually planning on starting a family, and that's why they want to come here, and this is going to be their home. I've been in St. Tammany now for 15 years. I love the parish. Wouldn't want to do anything to set it back. Wouldn't want to bring in a trashy trailer. And anything, we're going to upgrade the area. We're going to try and make it as pretty as possible. And if you saw where they were living in Atlanta, their home that they had there, the place is spotless, and they keep it up. And that's what I intend to see they do here, and I know they will, because I just know how they are. You know, I'd love to see my daughter back. I'm trying to help her out, and I hope the council will see that we're trying to do that. And if you look at the property now, it needs some work and upkeep, and I think this is going to do nothing but enhance it, not bring it down at all. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone in opposition that would like to speak for a rebuttal? Yes, you may.
Okay, my name is Penny Givens, and I live at 21061 Soul Drive, right next door to the property. My issues with this is I know that Ms. Gegenheimer is a noted real estate agent in this area. She owns numerous properties that she rents out. Why is this going to be the best option for their kids? Why not one of her other rental houses? Or why not put the manufactured home on the property that she owns or adjacent to the property she owns? That would be my only question. Why does she want to put it in our neighborhood when we're trying to bring things up? And we've started doing that. It's come up a long way. We've built that house in 1986. And we've seen it come up a lot. And I just don't want to see, me personally, I do not want to see it kind of take a turn and go the other way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'll close it to the public and bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Willie.
Question of staff. Is there any manufacturing housing overlay adjacent to this property, or I know there's mobile homes and manufactured homes in the area, but is there any overlay in that area?
Not in a very close vicinity.
Okay,
no.
thank you.
Commissioner Davis.
No, that was my question.
Commissioner Matthews.
Well, this area is largely stick-built homes. I really didn't see any manufactured homes anywhere in the close vicinity to this. And this area seems to be transitioning from more modest stick-built homes to even larger stick-built homes. And what they're planning to put on here is not really the typical manufactured home that we've seen in the past, the double-wide trailers and a real 3-bedroom, 2-bath, home, but it's been manufactured someplace else and put here. This is a Katrina trailer. It's a tiny little thing. I don't think you have room to start a family in something like this. And it really appears to be totally inappropriate for this area. If they were looking at a larger trailer, maybe. But one that's this small, and I didn't even know we were allowing these Katrina trailers to be brought into the parish anymore. And for that reason, I would move to deny.
We have a motion by Commissioner Matthews to deny, a second by Commissioner Willie. Is there any further discussion by the commission? Seeing none, I remind you, we have a motion to deny. Therefore, a yes vote is a vote to deny. Please vote. The motion to deny passes. If you wish to appeal to the council, you may fill out an appeals card.
Absolutely, I think.
I don't care, sir.
Okay.
Be respectful to the commission. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you, sir.
ZC 15-06-050, existing zoning, A3 Suburban District, proposed zoning, A3 Suburban District and manufacturing housing overlay. The parcel, 40,000 square feet. The petitioner, Janice Lacoste. The owner, Renee C. Jacques. The parcel, located on the corner of Bobby Jones and Green Street, being lots 1 and 20, square 45, Hillcrest Country Club subdivision, Ward 6, District 6. Staff?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with uses that would allow for conservation of natural resources of the site. However, staff does not have any objections to the request, as there are some manufactured homes within the subdivision, and staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? If you would please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Janice Lacoste, and the owner is Renee Jacques. He's been a owner now for 20-something years. He had bought the land, the 2 lots, originally for him and his wife had passed away shortly after he purchased them, so he's still residing in New Orleans in his older house. And he's an elderly man. He's been trying to sell it now for almost, August will be 2 years, and no success at all. So since we did try for a couple years, a couple people had advised us that we should see about having it rezoned. There is no trailers or homes on his street. When you go down Hillcrest and you turn onto Bobby Jones, you ride down maybe 3 or 4 blocks, and that's where his land is located, on a corner of Bobby Jones and Green Street. There has been some other trailers that recently, or mobile homes, has been put there, and they said that it was possible that by coming tonight, they would maybe rezone it so the man can sell the land.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak in favor of this request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public. I bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Matthews.
This does look like an area that would be appropriate for a manufactured home overlay. In the picture that staff provided, I count 7 manufactured homes just in this picture, and therefore I would move to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Matthews to approve, a second by Commissioner Randolph. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote. We've cleared the vote. We have a motion for approval and a second. Please vote. Motion carries. ZC 15-06-051, existing zoning, A3 Suburban District, proposed zoning, A3 Suburban District and manufactured housing overlay. The parcel, .37 acres. The petitioner, Norbert James Shayu, Jr. The owner, Teresa B. Shayu, Jr., Teresa B. Shayu. The parcel is located on the north side of Nouveau Street, east of Casa Calvo, west of Escondido Street, being 37603 Nouveau Street, Slidell, Ward 9, District 12. Staff?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with residential uses, including manufactured home. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. If you would please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Hey, how y'all doing? James Shayu, or Norbert James Shayu, Jr. I previously lived at this address before Katrina. I was working for a power line contractor called Pike, and after Katrina came through, ended up moving back to the Bay, and then got hired on at Clico, and been kind of commuting back and forth, but Clico's been kind of putting a little pressure on me about moving into back into St. Tammany Parish to be closer to work for timely restoration on call. So this property right here, which is family property, just wanting to put a home there, and just for work.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? If you would please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Eddie Applegate, 37606 Nueva Street. There's never been anybody living there since I built my house in '04. And we do have a few trailers. The couple down the street went through Katrina, people still live in them. And then they put one across the street. Well, Nuevo comes into Escondido. The guy was able to put one back after Katrina because he had one. And I oppose it because we all built houses back there, and it's a majority of stick-built houses, so that's why I oppose it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition?
My name's Harold Dewey. I live at 37609 Palm Street, which is actually the back side of this gentleman's house. Like he says, as long as I've been there, next week will be 10 years. There's never been a home there. There's never been a modular home, trailer or otherwise. There are a few trailers down the street, like he mentioned. Some were actually in Katrina, never rebuilt. A little farther down that street, there's a home that actually looks like a junkyard. There's cars, there's metal, there's walls actually being torn down around the home. There are some trailers in the area, like he said, that were hit at Katrina. They put a new trailer in that place. All these trailers are well kept. They've got a better yard than me and him put together. But with trailers coming in and out, I'm just afraid of our home value. All the time and work we've put into our homes just to have it basically ruined overnight. So I'm opposed it and appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in opposition? If not, we'll go into rebuttals. If you'd like to speak in rebuttal.
Like I said, there was 2 mobile homes there. They were older mobile homes before Katrina. This was, the storm actually wiped them out and had got FEMA to come in and tear them down. Now, since then, no, there hasn't been anything on that property. Now, I have used it for call and stuff like that just to stay for work. But the home that I'm planning on bringing in is not just a typical, just go find something cheap, put on there. The home I'm putting there is very nice. I'm getting it from Clayton Homes, is a builder, and off of 49 in Mississippi. And pretty much it's a modular home. It's going to be, it's going to be 2,000 square foot, very nice home. I'm actually financing after it's all said and done, it's going to be 150 that I'm financing for the house. It's very nice. And, I mean, I don't think I'm going to bring anything down in the neighborhood. It's actually going to fit right in, I believe. He is correct. Towards the front it is a little nasty. Until you start getting to the back, it's nicer back there. But I'm planning on just being like part of the neighborhood and really just making it nice, making it home.
Thank you. If you would care to, yes, you may rebut.
I came up with my previous statement because when he spoke before, he never actually told us what he wants to put there. We don't know if it's going to be an RV. We don't know if it's going to be a trailer, a modular home. And it's not that I'm so much for it. I don't have a problem with, people trying to upgrade the actual neighborhood. I mean, it's not a very expensive neighborhood to speak of. I mean, I moved in it when I was 22, 23 years old, just getting married, just really having my first job. But, I mean, if it's a modulator home, if it's going to be an actual home, I mean, that might be one thing. But who regulates? Who says, okay, the gentleman says, and I'm not saying he's lying, but what if he says, oh, it's going to be a modulator home, and next thing you know, in the next week or so, you got an RV sitting there. Then what? I mean, do we make him leave? Can we make him leave? Or once he's there, he's there. All right, appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other rebuttal for opposition? If not, at this time, I close it to the public. I bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Casabon?
Yes. Could I ask you a question? You said that your family, you've owned this property for how long?
Yes, ma'am. The property's been in my family for, probably 30 years or more.
Okay. That's the point that I heard, that this is family property, and they have kept it this long in their family, and now he wants to live on the property. I really don't have a problem as long as it's, as you say, a manufactured home. Clayton Homes, they do a very good job. and it seems like you've got a steady job, that I don't have a problem with it. I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Commissioner Casabon to approve. Second by Commissioner Richardson. Commissioner Matthews.
Helen, I have a question. Who does regulate something like what the gentleman was concerned about? That, you know, he says he's going to put a 2,000 square foot modular home on there, and that's great. But what if he puts a, you know, travel trailer, I mean, you know, on it? And I'm not saying you are, but your question, do we check that?
Yeah, travel trailers are not permitted in St. Tammany
Or
Parish.
would just say
so
a
that would
small mobile home instead of the nice thing he's talking about?
If
Does
we
somebody
place-
ever check that?
If he places a smaller mobile home, it still needs to have the HUD sticker on it, meet the wind load requirements, has to be anchored down properly.
Okay, so nobody checks to make sure that he's going to, and again, I'm not saying you're going to do anything different than you're saying, but it was a good question. I don't know. I mean, do we check up on that anyway?
No, I mean, if, as I said, if the HUD sticker is in the mobile home, it meets the wind load requirements, it would be allowed as long as it meets the setback
Okay,
requirements.
so he could put whatever he wanted as long as it met those requirements. Okay.
Don't you have to, do you
I was
present
thinking that,
plans?
like, when I filled out the thing, it was telling me, like, the actual square footage of the house, where it's going and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I
the
figured that
permit.
if you would lie about that, you'd
But the question was,
fill
does
permits.
somebody check, you know, I mean, I'm sure you're honest and you're going to do it, but
Well, don't we have inspectors as they come out, you know, for electricity and everything else? And if they see that, I mean, what they're, that's what they do on the houses and
I
mobile
think-
homes that I know of.
I believe from our perspective, we zone something. And as long as it meets the
meets
zoning
requirements,
requirement,
right.
that's all the commission is really bound to do. Commissioner Davis.
Yeah, I think that's the point I was going to say is there's some requirements as the skirting and things like that that have to be met. So that's what I think we need to address is the area appropriate for the zoning? Are there any existing modular homes out there?
Any further discussions? We have a motion for approval by Commissioner Casabon, a second by Commissioner Richardson. Please vote. Motion carries. Thank you. ZC 15-06-052, existing zoning A3 Suburban District, proposed zoning A3 Suburban District and manufactured housing overlay. The parcel, 40,000 square feet. The petitioner, Eileen Burris. The owner, Jeff Gutman and Sylvia Gutman. The parcel located on the northeast corner of Green Street and Bobby Jones Boulevard, being lots 11 and 12, Block 43, Hillcrest Country Club subdivision, Ward 6, District 6. Staff?
The 2025 future land use plan calls for the area to be developed with uses that would allow for conservation of natural resources. But staff does not have any objections to the request, as there are several manufactured homes within the subdivision. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? If you'd please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Eileen Burris. I reside right now in Chalmette, Louisiana at 8333 Fairfax. My son bought this land for me. I've been living with my daughter since Katrina and helping her raise her 4 children, and my other daughter has moved in with her 3. So for the last 10 years, I've been raising 7 children. And my son says it's time for me to have my own again. So I'm just as surprised as can be. He bought this for me, and they want to put a trailer on it for me, a home trailer. I told him it has to be at least 3 bedrooms and 2 baths so my grandchildren can come over. And he said I had to show up for this to make sure it was okay.
Well, thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of this? Anyone in the public wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public, bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Matthews.
well, we just approved a mobile home overlay catty corner away from this. And if this lady's been having to raise 7 children, she needs her own home. And Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Matthews to approve, second by Commissioner Dougherty. Is there any further discussion? Are there any commendments for this wonderful lady? Please vote. Motion carries. Thank you. Old business, PR 15-03-002, use tire shop. Corridor, Highway 21 planned corridor. Zoning, HC2 highway commercial. The unit size, 6,613 square feet. The petitioner, Michael P. Poe. The owner, Iberia Bank. The parcel is located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 21, south of Greenbrier Boulevard, Ward 1, District 1. Staff?
The staff and landscape plan was approved at the March 3rd, 2015 Zoning Commission meeting for a new tire store. At that meeting, it was brought up that the particular site is abutting Flower Bayou, and that there may be additional requirements from the state of Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries. After consulting with them, they requested that the buffer remains in a natural state besides the removal of the Chinese tallow trees. And at the same time, the petitioner has made great effort to try to meet the minimum number of Class A and Class B trees. However, they are mostly on other sides of the property. So at this time, staff would like to recommend approval of the requested variances, subject to all the applicable regulations and the condition listed on the form.
Thank you. Is the petitioner here? If you'd please approach the podium.
Bo Embry I'm with the landowner, the developer. I live in Texas. Like she said, we've got after the Louisiana Department of Wildlife Fisheries recommendation, we're saving a lot of trees that are in this Flowers Bayou adjacent to our property and in our property. And I think the trees that are there that are being protected and removing the Chinese tallow trees will increase the actual trees that are there, make this a nice looking neighborhood when it's better when we're finished. Yeah, so we've got the revised landscape plan based on the Department of Wildlife recommendations, and that's been reviewed. That's really it.
Thank you. If you would please fill out a speaker card so we have it for the record. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of this? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I close it to the public. I bring it back to the commission. Commissioner Lauren.
Thank you. I took a ride out there today, and I think, looking as best I can from the plans, this is a totally appropriate plan. The only question I really have is, in the plan review staff report, under the staff comments, the second to last paragraph, or the second to last sentence, doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you can explain it. Petitioner is also requesting to provide the sum of the request. The verb. Which number are you referring to? Look under the staff comments. The second to last sentence. The word starts with the word petitioner. It's just the way it's worded. Wait, read it the way it should read.
Petitioner is also requesting to provide the total number of required Class A and Class B trees.
Okay, that makes sense. You had me buffaloed there, but otherwise I move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Lauren to approve, a second by Commissioner Casabon. Commissioner Davis.
To the gentleman who was up. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for getting rid of those Chinese tallow trees.
If he thinks he's going to get rid of those.
Commissioner Matthews.
Yeah. Helen, they're going to plant the required number of trees, just not necessarily right there on that property. Is that correct?
No, they're all going to be planted on the property, but on the other sides of the property.
Okay.
So they're going to meet the total number of required Class A and Class B trees.
So we're not letting them plant less than required, so I mean.
No,
what-
sir. Mm-mm.
Great.
Commissioner Dougherty?
Yes, this is a question for staff. On the oak trees that are going along in the parking area, some of those areas that those trees are going to be planted in are really small, and I'm just concerned about, will they continue to grow? Looks like we're restricting the growth of a large tree by allowing a large tree to go in those small planting areas.
You're referring to the not all oaks?
Right.
Well, maybe we can ask Ms. Regan here, who can give us her opinion as a landscape architect.
Well, not all oaks are often used in parking lot situations in St. Tammany Parish, and our ordinance requires that they be Class A trees, which are going to be something like a nut all oak or something like that, the 2 to 2.5 inch caliper, 10 to 12 feet tall. That's what the ordinance requires. So.
Okay, but as these trees continue to grow, give them 5, 10 years, are they going to have enough growing space to continue to grow?
Yeah, if they've got their 9 by 20-foot islands or 9 by 18-foot islands, which is the standards that we've got.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Commissioner Lauren?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your light never goes out. Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Lauren, a second by Commissioner Casabon to approve. Remind you that we are granting a variance. In this case, it will require a 2/3 majority. Please vote. Motion carries. Is there any new business? I would like to remind the Commission that if you have not done so, please complete your ethics training and forward that to staff so that we have that complete for the Commission. Are there any other issues to come before? Commissioner Matthews.
Helen, the attachment of the maps that the aerials was very, very nice, was very helpful. I encourage you to continue to do that if you would not mind. Very good, thank you.
I have a motion to adjourn. Thank you.